Hello, my name is Hayden Penn, and this is my work. For 4 long months, I worked rolling burritos at the highly popular Mexican restaurant Chipotle. Today, I'm going to share with you what it's like to actually be on the other side of the counter, sharing my experience and thoughts about what it takes to work at Chipotle Mexican Grill. Sundays were always my favorite day to work at Chipotle. Everyone just seemed a little more cheerful. Every Chipotle is different. The company stands behind this image of a neighborhood cultivated restaurant, meaning that each Chipotle is indigenous and dependent upon its location. Its company is all about supporting the small business and local farms of the area, so naturally every Chipotle is run a little different. Ours opened at 11 a.m. and closed at 10 p.m. every day, apart from 4 days out of the year. I would walk into work promptly at 8 a.m. to open on a Sunday shift. I was particularly good at making chips, so that's where I spent most of my time. The chips at Chipotle are made fresh every day in the morning and in the afternoon. They come as unfried tortilla triangles, which are then fried and put in a mixing bowl and tossed in salt and lime. I was very good at the chip flip by the end of my time there. After I made the specified amount of chips, I would move on to taco shells, which I, until starting working at Chipotle, never knew how they were made. There are these special holders made to form a small tortilla into a taco form, and then you dip them in oil in order to make them crispy. I always made sure to order hard shell tacos whenever I made them in the morning because, mine were the best. As soon as I'd finish, I'd bag my chips, and then it was time for a quick 30-minute break before we opened. I learned to get used to Mexican food for breakfast at 10:30. After we opened, I mainly stayed on the line, doing mostly tortilla, which was the very first person you talk to. I have a very loud and energetic personality, so naturally I fit well there. I would always end up working over my shift because that's always what happened there. There never seemed to be enough people working, and sometimes I wouldn't leave until 4:30 to 5. I ended up leaving Chipotle at the very beginning of 2014. I realized that although I had made a second family with my coworkers, it still wasn't enough for me to endure the long, grueling hours and nasty customers on a day-to-day basis. Because Chipotle is such a popular restaurant, and also because we were the only Chipotle downtown to have a parking lot, we would have a 30-minute line nearly every day for a majority of the day. Customers constantly came up to the counter, already in a bad mood, with the idea that it was our fault. My job on the front of the line was to help people forget that they waited so long and get them their food as quickly and efficiently as possible. After non-stop, "Hi, what can I get yous?" and "white or brown rices?" you begin to become a Chipotle zombie. Sometimes I would forget where I was for long periods of time, only to realize that my body and my mouth were going on their own while my mind wandered in space. It's like when you drive for a long time and you forget you're driving. Anyway, I don't think I've ever been spoke to as bad as I did when I worked at Chipotle. People seem to forget you're an actual human being with thoughts and hopes and aspirations. They're only concerned with how much rice you're going to give them. I think this is mainly because of the large metal separation between the customer and the employee. Anyway, what I like to do is to get to know the customer better. If I started to recognize them week after week, I would always ask for their name so I could remember it for the next time, along with their usual order. After 3 or 4 weeks, I started to notice this very cheerful blonde woman. After asking what her name was, she told me Annie. I replied with, "Awesome, my name's Hayden. I'll make sure to remember that the next time." And I turned to help the next customer. Just then, she stopped me and said, "I just want you to know I love you working here and you are so good at your job." Compliments were something I never received at Chipotle, so this caught me off guard. The biggest smile ran across my face, and I replied with an enormous thank you, and my smile never left the rest of my shift. If Chipotle taught me anything about the workforce, it's that you have to be able to make your own happiness within your job. I'll say it sucked working there. It's a great company, and I was proud to work for them and stand by their beliefs, but the day-to-day struggle was demanding, especially on top of being a full-time student. I always made sure to never complain too much. I was happy where I was because I had made my own happiness there. I became really close with my coworkers, and we had each other's back in case we needed a little more support. I always made sure to have fun on the line just to brighten people's day a little more. I also learned how much a thank you goes a long way. You never know when someone might need that extra motivation, and you should always give thanks for the things in your life.